My name is Pastor Bennett of Grace in the Park Ministries, and today we're diving into a powerful message. 8 things Jesus said about money you need to know. In our ministry, we believe that God doesn't want you saved and broke. Jesus' teachings on money aren't just about finances. They're about our hearts, priorities, and ultimately living a life aligned with God's will. Let's explore how following Jesus' wisdom on money can transform both your spiritual and financial life. 1. Seek God's kingdom first, not money. In Matthew 6:33, Jesus says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Jesus instructs us to prioritize God's kingdom and his righteousness over worldly concerns, including money. This doesn't mean that money or material needs are unimportant, but that when we place God at the center of our lives, everything else, including our financial needs, will fall into place. The world often tells us to chase after wealth, status, or material success, but Jesus flips that idea upside down. He teaches that when we put our faith in God and seek to live according to his will, he will provide what we need. Our primary focus should be on spiritual growth, deepening our relationship with God, and living out his purpose for our lives. When we focus on God first, he blesses us not only with provision, but with peace, purpose, and fulfillment beyond what money can buy. 2. The importance of generosity. In Luke 6:38, Jesus says, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Generosity is central to Jesus' teachings. He highlights the joy and blessing that come from giving freely and from the heart. This teaching reminds us that generosity isn't just about fulfilling a duty. It's about reflecting God's own generosity toward us. As we give to others, whether through time, resources, or finances, we demonstrate trust in God's provision. Jesus teaches that when we give, we receive in abundance. But it's not just about material wealth. We receive spiritual rewards like joy, peace, and fulfillment. When we live generously, we live in the freedom that comes from knowing we are blessed to bless others. 3. The parable of the talents. One of the most powerful lessons on money comes from Jesus' parable of the talents in Matthew 25:14-30. In this story, a master entrusts 3 of his servants with varying amounts of money. 2 of the servants invest their money and double their master's wealth, while the third buries it out of fear. When the master returns, he praises the 2 who took risks and made wise investments, saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." But the servant who hid his money was scolded for his lack of stewardship. This parable illustrates the importance of wisely managing and growing what God has entrusted to us. Jesus teaches that we are responsible for multiplying the resources he gives us, whether that's money, talents, or time. This is the biblical foundation of wise financial stewardship. We are not meant to be stagnant with what God provides, but to use it purposefully, investing it in ways that glorify him. The heart revealed by money. In Matthew 6:21, Jesus states, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This teaching reveals a profound truth. Our relationship with money reflects our values and priorities. What we spend our money on indicates what we truly care about. If we invest in material possessions, luxury, or status, it may reveal a heart focused on worldly things. Conversely, when we allocate our resources toward helping others, building community, and supporting our spiritual growth, it demonstrates a heart aligned with God's values. By choosing to invest in what truly matters, like relationships, community service, and supporting our church, we cultivate a heart that mirrors Jesus' teachings. This perspective not only enhances our spiritual lives, but also leads to deeper fulfillment, showing that true wealth lies not in our bank accounts, but in our ability to love and serve others. 5. Pay what you owe. In Matthew 22:21, Jesus says, "Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's." Jesus' teaching here is a reminder of financial responsibility. We are called to be honest in our dealings, including paying taxes and debts. While taxes and financial obligations can feel burdensome, Jesus teaches us that we are to respect the systems in place while also ensuring that we give God what is rightfully His: our devotion, our time, and our offerings. Balancing worldly obligations with spiritual commitments is essential in a faithful Christian life. 6. The widow's offering. In Mark 12:41-44, Jesus observes a poor widow who gives 2 small coins, while wealthy people give large amounts. He says, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything, all she had to live on." This teaching emphasizes that the value of a gift is not in its monetary worth, but in the heart behind it. The widow gave sacrificially, and that was far more significant in the eyes of God than the large sums given without personal cost. Jesus teaches us that true generosity is measured by our willingness to sacrifice, not the size of our bank account. 7. The rich young ruler. In Matthew 19:21-22, a rich young man asked Jesus what he must do to gain eternal life. Jesus replies, "If you want to be perfect, go, sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." The young man, attached to his wealth, goes away sorrowful because he cannot part with his riches. This passage teaches that wealth, if it becomes an idol, can be a barrier to following Christ fully. Jesus didn't tell everyone to sell everything, but in this man's case, his wealth was a stumbling block. We must be willing to let go of anything that keeps us from wholeheartedly following Jesus. 8. Store treasures in heaven. In Matthew 6:19-21, Jesus says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Jesus reminds us to focus on eternal investments rather than temporary material wealth. While money is necessary for daily life, our true treasure should be in spiritual things: our relationship with God, acts of love, generosity, and faith. When our focus is on heaven, our hearts will follow, leading to a life of true abundance. Conclusion: the teachings of Jesus about money challenge us to rethink our priorities and values. He encourages us to seek God's kingdom first, view money as a tool rather than a treasure, and let our financial decisions reflect our true hearts. By embracing these principles, we can cultivate a healthier relationship with money that honors God and aligns with our faith. Remember, God doesn't want you saved and broke. He desires for us to experience abundance in all aspects of life, including our finances. By applying these teachings, we can not only improve our financial situation, but also enrich our spiritual lives and the lives of those around us. Let's strive to be wise stewards of the resources we have been given and use them to further His kingdom here on earth. Thank you for watching. God bless you.